All right. Welcome to everybody out there in radio land, TV land, social media land, or to those of you that are just watching us or listening to us on the Radio TOUCHEDOUCE app. I'm going to welcome you guys, and from whatever device that you are listening and watching me on. So, my name is Dr. Jenny, and you are listening to Hot Topic Radio Show on Radio TOUCHEDOUCE. And m'a salué DJ Paz. DJ Paz, ça qu'a fait, ça qu'a fait. So, jeudi, m komanse son ti jan reta. And like I always tell you guys, c'est parce que depi wè m ba komanse ale, c'est parce que mwen genyen problem teknik. Si telman bay la un pile, DJ Paz had to come to my rescue. Thank you so much. Jodi, na fe ba yon lot jan, paske bon mwen, mbat la lot semen, well, semen pase, mbat la semen pase, and mde vle pataje yon, looks like on bak avek nou. Basically, mte yon panelist, mte sou yon panel avek de lot dokter, right? And nou ta pale sou mental awareness, right? So, nou ta paske May, c'était mental awareness, and nou te fon bagay na Cats Lounge la, right? So I was one of the panelists that was there. I was actually invited to be one of the panelists there. And I definitely want to say thank you for them inviting me. I was representing Haitian American Pharmacists Association, and it was Rebati Santé Mentale that hosted the event, and the person that actually was the moderator was Dr. Tanya. And she was awesome. The event was beautiful. So what I'm going to do today is, instead of me telling you what it was, I'm going to discuss. I'm going to show you. Not even discuss. I'm going to show you. Before I show you, of course, I'm going to play some music like I always do. But I just want you guys to grab a pen and paper. This was a discussion. We sat down. We talked. We made sure that we exchanged information. So we did have a live audience that was there, that was listening, that was taking notes, that appreciated the fact what we were doing for the community. And I would like for you guys to also take that time to, if you have any questions, you can always shoot me a comment underneath. You can shoot a comment to let me know what you guys think of that event, because they do it, I think they do it every year. This was the first time that I was part of it. They always have a pharmacist as part of the panelists, so that we can discuss things that happens with medications when people have like mental issues, right? Because we can sit there and talk about all the different type of mental conditions that are out there, but we chose to kind of keep it nice and simple, and kind of address some of the main things that probably pops up to people's head. And like I said, you guys are going to like it. So what I'll do is, like I said, I'm going to play some music. And before I do that, I also want to make sure that I let you guys know that I appreciate that you guys are listening in. Please don't forget to share the live. Like I said, this is very, very important information, because our community, right, they tend to push mental issues to the side, and a lot of these people that have mental conditions, they get treated unfairly when I feel like it's, of course, it's an illness that needs to be addressed. So, map di sa an kreol tou. So, communauté haïtien, m senti ke le li vini pou problem mental, m senti ke nou an ti jan pousse bay sa bon, nous ignorer li quelque fois en pile fois les nous ouais on moun gen un problème mental premier bagay que nous penser premier bagay qui vient dans idée nous c'est OK on moun fait moun sa yon bagay right they must have did something to this person if it's woo something to that nature. M'bap di que oui, c'est pas vrai, non c'est des bagailles, certain stuff could be spiritual, but a lot of stuff are considered to be chemical imbalance, right? So, le n'a parlé de cerveau, c'est son bail that we definitely have to make sure que nous comprendre que yo gan pile bagay qui pas balancé, qui ka cause nous vin gen problème. Si c'est des bagages que nous mettons dans le système nous as far as drugs, right? Qui cause those imbalance or it's just something that runs in the family too. Yo gen c'est des moun yo kapa konnen or maybe they did know but they didn't think that they would get it. But yeah, say they by side they run in family. Those type of conditions, those mental health conditions, these things go down from generation to generation. So I want people to get educated to know what to do and what to look out for when it comes to especially our older Haitians that take qui prend médicaments yo avec CDT pour connaître que li vraiment important pour parler avec docteur ou pour dire docteur ou tout ça va prendre pour yo ka make sure yo do si ba yo aller ensemble right parce que yo gen pile médicament qui pas aller bien ensemble avec supplements so thé buy over the counter so li vraiment important que yo parle avec docteur avec pharmacien, OK? Pour make sure que vous connaissez que ça va faire c'est pas un bagay qui cause aucun lot dommage, OK? So again, like I said, we are going to continue with some more music. I hope you guys had a great weekend. I definitely had a great relaxed weekend, so that I can't complain about. It's always good, li toujours bon. Le ou gon weekend kote se sel relax wap relax. You're not worrying about nothing. Tout bagay fet. Se pa tout weekend pou ap soti. Bezwen weekend kote pou vraiment relax. Okay? So with all that being said, m'bray lage yon ti vice. Tu me touches. We're gonna take it all the way back into time. Vice, tu me touches.
Touche-moi. Songez moment, nous te compte pas ça deux. Sous place boyer, nous te compte rencontrer. Pour nous parler, nous caresser, wap dit tout ça français. C'est nous-mêmes, j'écris, moi v'lais pour m'habiter. Pour faire l'amour, joue dans la lune couchée. Mes nuits sont n'avait moyen, tout comme a frissonné. Baka kembe, m'v'lais rester, on s'en moi v'lais rester.
Tu me touches, oui c'est bon.
Ça t'a va changer. Zami jaloux, pas vle ouais moun d'amour. Yo parle mal ou détourner, ou t'es capable oublier. C'est bon Dieu seul qui compte qui j'en senti. De faire confiance, laisse les barreaux tout calme. Papa Kembe pour vivre sans vous. La nuit moins yo, vite tellement vite, journée moins yo, vite tellement long, vie ni moyen pour faire voler.
Tu me touches, oui c'est bon. Tu me touches, oui c'est bon. Tu me touches, oui c'est bon.
Mais c'est pas possible. Maestro, joie de nom, joie de nom, joie de nom. Vous prenez me saisir.
Tout ça
Touche-moi encore. All right, that was T-Vice, Tu me touches. And I want to give a shout out. It looks like we got a crew here. We got Sir, we got Kenzie, and we have Done You. Artist Done You. And Edward and Kenji. I don't know if I said it right. Kenzie or Kenji. So m'a salué nous toutes, m'a dit nous merci parce que nous branchez live avec nous. 2 times for Prince Charles, who is in the building. Prince Charles, salut mon yo, Prince Charles, salut mon yo. Ah, they got you. Yeah, so Prince Charles is in the building. Sakap fet. And I got a special request. Beijing featuring Wendy Shea. So I'm sorry, Wendy Shea featuring Beijing, and it's called Too Late. This is the remix, all right? So pour moun yo ki te vle tande musique sa, pour moun yo ki te mande pou li, shout out to Done You again, artist Done You. So we'll be right back and enjoy.
Exidia, najua uko ulipo unaumia, uliniacha mwenyewe sambona unanigangania, vimeseji kunitumia, unanikwaza, umechelewa, jimbo lishawahiwa, umekuwa king'ang'a, hujui kukataliwa we, it's too late, it's too late.
Pressure been rising. I dream no bad think it. When you see sexy body, see yeah me wine nessa. This one I make boss, I make twista. Sa.
Bitch, je t'ai mis dans ma blacklist. Tu veux te rattraper, cause tu vois my sexy body. Mais c'est déjà réglé. New man, new life, new energy, new vibe. J'suis déjà loin, t'as pleuré. Fin du game, j'me suis barré. I don't wanna waste my time. Now you stuck on my audio. I swear I'm done with lies. No more you off my radio. Oh, moi t'as die. Trop tard, I'm fine. Now I'm out here to find my role. Me
It's too late. You lost a good one. My obia shall be ringo.
I cross in my mind, oh. I no got time to say how I know. All the times where you deceive me online, I know like you had me in my feelings. There's no fear, reason, you don't deserve my love. If you're checking out, it's too late and you know fit to come back, bye, yo. Now I'm living my life, you they look me like bad girl, oh. I'm on to the next, and I'm living my best, bye to my ex, please don't stress me, I beg.
All right. And we are back again. I'm gonna give you guys a shout out. I'm gonna tell you guys thank you so much for listening. And like promised, we talked about me being a panelist on on this event that was done at the Cats Lounge. I think it was last week Thursday. And congrats to all of our new graduates. Pour tout le monde qui fait graduer. That's all I'm seeing down my timeline is a whole bunch of new graduates. So congratulations. The sky is the limit. Keep going. Don't stop there. And I'm just happy to see so much success, so much accomplishments. It always brings joy to my heart when I see things like that. So with all that being said, this is what I wanted to present to you, and enjoy.
This is on Dr. Tanya Guerrier-Castor. She is a board-certified psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner with a doctorate in nursing practice. She is the founder of Clear Path Wellness Lounge, established in 2022. And Dr. Castor is dedicated to helping individuals navigate their mental health journey. She focuses on the biopsychosocial factors, particularly trauma that influence mental well-being. She serves ages 13 to 85, but she'll see you if you go up to 87, 89. She doesn't discriminate. It's okay. And she specializes in guiding those who seek a clearer path to mental wellness following trauma. And then the bio is so long that we're going to stop here so we can start because we're running a little behind. And we thank you guys. And Dr. Castor, you have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Bonsoir tout le monde. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Dr. Zuma, for that amazing introduction. We appreciate each and every one of you who are here today, all of our vendors, sponsors, and attendees. Thank you so much for coming out to have a discussion. If we can just have a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Like I was saying, thank you so much for joining us today to have a discussion about mental health and the topic, wellness without walls. It's a very serious topic and it's something that our Haitian community is struggling with and has been struggling with for years. As of late, it is a topic that people are more and more comfortable talking about. However, we are still fighting the many stigmas that exist in our community. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce Dr. Janak, who is our chairwoman of BEBA Santé Mentale.
Honneur,
Despair.
and I am the proud chairwoman of this amazing organization, BEBA Santé Mentale. Merci for joining us this evening. You guys can be anywhere, like Dr. Lozana said. However, you chose to be here supporting us and looking into your mental well-being. So, Antical de BEBA Santé Mentale. BEBA Santé Mentale is an organization that's been around for a very long time, but mainly back in 2010. Yeah, 2010 after the earthquake in Haiti. Dr. Gerda Nicola, and alongside some of her colleagues, decided to create BEBA Santé Mentale to help promote and bring awareness to mental health. As you know, in our culture, mental health is a little taboo, but that is changing now. More and more people are showing way more interest, and so we are very proud of that. We continue doing the amazing work that we're doing at BEBA. We provide mental health services for all ages. In English and Creole, we have a directory where you can find mental health providers across the country. We have psychologists and mental health providers in Atlanta, Boston, New York. What else do we have? Quite a few places, and we're growing because mental health is becoming more and more, I guess, accepted within our culture, and I am very happy to see that. What else I can say about our organization? We provide scholarships, and right now we actually have a scholarship right now going on. So if you have any rising college freshmen, graduating seniors, we do provide scholarships for that. We provide free and a sliding scale psychotherapy and psych evaluations at the Center for Haitian Studies. So if you want more information about that, if you know anybody who needs some mental health services, we take care of that as well. We have created a Haitian dictionary where you're able to see some of the terminologies in Haitian Creole that most people are not used to knowing. So then if you check the dictionary, you'll see some of that. And then we have the directory. I think I spoke about the directory. And as I said, the directory that we have all the Haitian psychologists, psychiatric nurses, psychiatrists, mental health providers, name it. We are all over the place. So yay to us. And the membership, right? So we do want anybody who is in the mental health field, whatever area that is, we do accept membership because we want to grow. And a lot of people do come to us and they want to see if they have like a culturally competent and sensitive provider, and that's what we provide here. So if you're in here, I hope you do decide to join BEBA and if you like the stuff that we're doing, if you go on IG, on Facebook, on YouTube, and our website, you can see more and more of the work that we do. So we also usually do work in Haiti as well. So even though Haiti is now, we still travel. We still travel to Haiti and provide these services. We started off in Akayet, and so, well, Tigua, but most of our work was in Akayet, but we did Akayet, Mohi, Sema, Tigua, Gongwa, Chakme, Jeremy, Pinchobi, Kinskoff, Fressi, and now we're in Okap, and so we go to Port Liberté, we go to Limonade. So these are all the places that Liberty is known, because most of our work started off in Haiti, but now that we have so many more people who's coming here to the United States, we're providing more services here, but nous still basés à Haïti parce que là, nous devons commencer et nous continuer the service là. Okay, merci, and I hope you guys enjoy yourself.
Thank you for that amazing presentation, Dr. Jana. Next, we have Dr. Saint-Ville, who is the Executive Director of Webati Santé Mentale.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming out. I'm going to keep it short, but we really appreciate everyone who has took your time out today to stop at the vendors, to learn about what we do. Liberté Santé Mentale is near and dear to many of our hearts, and we want to break stigma in our community and normalize mental health. And so, without further ado, let's get the panel started.
Okay, so we're going to start our panel discussion. So I'll go from English to Creole. N'a parlé Creole, n'a parlé anglais. Ça dépend de ce qu'on dit. Et puis on va parler parce que si vous êtes à l'aise en Creole, n'a répété. Si vous avez une question, vous allez me poser. Écrire question ou bien texte dans le téléphone pour qu'à songer parce qu'après on a tout le monde opportunité pour poser nos questions pour moun ka parler pour répondre et si on concerne ou bien si on a information à répondre. Okay, first I'd like to introduce Dr. Jenny Gravel. Big round of applause, big round of applause. She is with HAPA. It's the Haitian American Pharmacy Association. On time. Hey. And then next, I'd like to introduce Dr. Cassandra Espelon, who's also with the Haitian American Pharmacy Association. And last, certainly but not least, I'd like to introduce Dr. Marlene Cesar, who is with Santla. We can do better than that. Big round of applause. Yes. I'm about to have a breath for a moment. Okay, so as I stated earlier, the conversation that we're going to be having is about mental health. Discussion que nous fait après-midi, c'est de santé mentale. Et puis nous focus dans la communauté haïtienne. So we're going to be focused on the Haitian community while discussing, the services and resources that are available to us. There are several services and resources that I myself just learned about, and it's so amazing. And I urge each and every one of you in here, as we're having this discussion, as these panelists are presenting, to give them your undivided attention. We won't be before you long, but this information is so important, and it can potentially not just change your life, but a loved one, your friends, your family. So, pour KLASS juste à me dire, moi, c'est pendant mesdames ont parlé, portez attention, prenez note, parce que l'information yo gal dans nous là, c'est des ressources qui sont disponibles pour la communauté haïtienne. Ou pas jamais l'information ça, c'est pas qu'à changer vie en famille, en amis, en monde qu'on connaît, peut-être qu'il a changé vie pas. So, portez attention, prenez note. So we're going to start with Dr. Jenny Graval.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. So I am Dr. Jenny Graval, and I am a pharmacist that works with CVS Health. And I have the privilege of representing HAPA, which is Haitian American Pharmacists Association. And in addition to my work in the pharmacy, I also have a talk show host that focuses on healthcare as well. So my dedication to the community is to educate our community on the wide range of health awareness topics. Okay? And
I'd like to, if you can go ahead and just introduce yourself, Dr. Cassandra, and give just state a bit about yourself.
Bonjour. Je suis Cassandra Espelon. Je fais partie Haitian American Pharmacists Association. Je suis un pharmacien tout, mais je fais un récent changement pour quitter le travail dans la pharmacie. Pour c'est un medical scientist for pharmaceutical companies. So ça veut dire que moi responsabilité pour mon co-docteur pour make sure que vous comprenez tout études qui nouveaux qui sortent de médicaments et sida, ça veut dire traitement avec prévention. So, je suis content pour parler avec nous de mental health et parce que dans tout mon travail là, mon sida sont bagages que le monde peut parler de ça. Et puis il y a un pile problème mental qui affecte les gens parce que quand ils mettent tout le monde, ils ne peuvent pas parler de ça qui a passé et puis ils ont caché. So, je suis content pour parler de ce sujet.
Okay, next we have Dr. Marlene Cesar from SUC.
Bonsoir tout le monde. Mon nom c'est Marlene Cesar. C'est d'abord un nurse. C'est dans psychiatric mental health nurse practitioner. Je continue d'aller dans l'école de médecine, je suis mon docteur en médecine générale et moi bientôt mon doctorat en nurse practitioner. Alors, je suis content pour l'assurance. L'assurance, moi, qu'a dit que nous avons un petit chapeau. Moi, je suis un membre pour Haitian American Nurses Association. Moi, c'est un membre PEARS. Et aussi, moi, plus précisément, à ce moment, on présente ce centre-là, qui c'est Haitian Neighborhood Center, et qui là, depuis 25 ans, dans la communauté, et qui a offert une constellation de services qui couvrit social, qui couvrit psychosocial, qui couvrit family stabilization, parenting skills for the families and the kids in the community. And we also offer services for the migrants, and that's where our specialty is how to deal with the migrants, especially their cultural beliefs regarding health or santé mentale, which has always been a problem in the community for people to understand or to agree to psychotherapeutic treatments or even psychotherapeutic visits or therapy. So we are here tonight to tell you about all the details of where we come from in the medical care and where we are today.
Thank you so much, Dr. Cesar. All right, so Dr. Javier, we're going to start with you. So can you tell me what are some of the effective strategies that individuals can use to manage common side effects of antidepressants, such as serotonin syndrome and sexual dysfunction, while still maintaining the effectiveness of their treatment?
All right, so when it comes to, and again, good evening everyone. So when it comes to trying to find those type of treatments, I always like to tell patients to also look at, I know we're going to talk about coping mechanism, but when you're looking at serotonin syndrome is something that happens when a patient is taking multiple serotonin medication that has that chemical in it, right? So we have our selective serotonin medications for the antidepressants. So a patient might want to take a over-the-counter medication for depression as well that also has serotonin in it. In situations like that, it can cause that patient to go through hypertension, raise it through the roof. It can cause tremors, and at one point it can even cause death. So one of the best ways to try to prevent some of these things from happening is to make sure that you communicate and you have a some kind of dialogue with your physician, pharmacist, and to make sure you let them know those lists of medications that you're taking. If it's over the counter, if it's something that's, I want to say, natural, so tea and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that those things, you're not doubling up on them. Because the more you take of those things, it can cause harm. You might not think it may cause a harm, but in the long run, it can cause certain harms with that. So by communicating, dialoguing with your professional healthcare team, that would also prevent that from happening. That's the best way.
Okay, good. Thank you for that. So pretty much what I'm understanding is if you or your loved ones, if you're on a medication, so si on va prendre médicament, c'est pour dépression, docteur ou bien ou va prendre médicament, avant pour l'autre médicament qui était un médicament que vous achetez dans CVS, que vous avez besoin de prescription pour lui, make sure que vous cherchez information dans les docteurs, ou bien on a prescrit médicament, comme si pour pas des symptômes que le docteur Gervais a expliqué. Okay, so Dr. Estela, what are the most common benefits and side effects of antidepressants and anxiety medications, especially for someone new to mental health treatment?
So I definitely love that question because the point of taking those medications, such as like the SSRI or SNRI, an example of an SSRI would be fluoxetine, and then an example of this SNRI would be Effexor. So the irony of this is that although these medications are indicated to make you feel better, there is a chance that these medications can make you feel like depressed and down as well, right? So the recommendation is always when someone starts on that medication to have somebody monitor that person, right? Because just as effective as it could be, and it takes time to be effective, it can have a sort of kind of like a rebound effect. So that's something very important to know because people may not be aware of that, but when you have, so you have a pharmacist, like, and I want everybody in the community to understand that you are allowed to choose your pharmacy. I see so many times in our community where people are going to 2 or 3 different pharmacies, and I'm going to try to say this in Creole, because I think this is so important. So, médicaments pour dépression ça yo, l'on prend yo, lié d'eau pour pas sentir que ou bien dépression. Mais problème privé, médicaments ça a un effet qui fait sentir comme si ou pas sentir bien ou sentir ou bien dépression. Ça veut dire que l'on commence à prendre des médicaments, c'est pour dire au monde ça, pour monde ka suivre, pour ka aider, pour ouais si médicament a pas agir bien pour vous. OK? Donc, moi, il y a une autre question pour parce que vous prenez l'important. Ça veut dire que pas penser que vous prenez pour le premier jour que vous prenez là, il y a un effet important. Et c'est pour suivre cette pour qui genre médicament ça réagit avec quoi. Parce qu'il faut aider le docteur pour si besoin d'increase the dosage, si besoin de changer les médicaments, c'est vraiment important pour travailler à docteur. Vous ne pouvez pas regarder ça à docteur et puis pour juste connaître le problème. Si vous ne pouvez pas la veille, il ne va pas connaître.
So essentially what you're saying is that when prescribed a medication, whether it's antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications, don't expect a quick turnaround. Don't expect an overnight change. Give it time to work so at the same time you can experience the opposite effect. So pretty much be vigilant, focus, pay attention, have a loved one, a trusted one person who's going to help you monitor those symptoms. So, soit quand docteur ou un symptôme de dépression, il y a un médicament pour soulager les symptômes, on va sentir comme si les symptômes sont soulagés immédiatement, ballon petit temps, pour une patience. Mais en même temps, souvent on nous fait confiance et parler avec mon ça pour dire, comme si sous reconnaître que moi-même, si j'ai parlé de plus de dépression, bien symptômes aggravés, faire nous comprendre ça pour faire docteur ou bien mon dépression en prendre. All right, great. Okay, Dr. Martin Cesar, who is a pioneer in the Haitian community, who has been serving for over 20 years, who is extremely passionate and resourceful. So, Dr. Cesar, tell me, in your experience in providing mental health services to the Haitian community, how do cultural beliefs and stigma around mental health affect patients' willingness to adhere to treatment plans? And what strategies have you found effective in overcoming those barriers?
It's a very good question. It's a question that we are still asking, and it's a question that a lot of researchers, such as the one that come from the NIH, they're still asking the question, how to improve mental health services to the Haitian communities. And this question is based on the fundamental of the Haitian culture. And all of those values that we are having into implementing services, mental health services that are sound and people are using them, it's the cultural beliefs. Cultural beliefs have always been a very difficult thing to resolve, not only for the Haitian, because when we look at the American culture and look at the health belief values of that community, it's completely different from the way Haitians see health, period. So there is a lot of resistance to changing attitude because of the fact that we have developed a lot of needs, a lot of I would say stigma about mental health. It has always been seen as a shame for certain people of the community. It has been seen as a lie. But one of the most important things, which is the voodoo framework of the Haitian culture. That voodoo framework is really the explanatory framework to explain why the Haitians are so resistant to mental health. Because what they believe that when you have a mental health problem, it started from the stem of your cultural background, and since statistically almost 46 or to 50% of the Haitian population, they serve voodoo, so they just believe that if they have a problem, especially if they're psychotic, and automatically they think that they are possessed, by some kind of spirits, and those spirits are making them having hallucination. And most of the time, they're not looking for services from the psychiatrist or from the psychologist. They move away. If they cannot find a woman or here in the community to serve them in that framework of your voodoo explanatory impediment for getting services in mental health, they will rather not go to services at all. So, and the stigma remains as a social determinant for the Haitian when they're looking for mental health services, and that's the biggest problem of the population, which become now the problem for the youth, because their parents do not believe in mental health. So therefore, we have a lot of youth that are developing mental health problems, and they're supposed to go to treatment based on the cultural beliefs of their parents, and that makes a very big problem to serve the youth. And a lot of researchers here at the level of SAMHSA or NIH have discovered that most of the Haitian youth that are diagnosed, or even not even diagnosed, but that are already acting with a very active mental health ailments are not receiving the treatment because of the reluctance and the refusal of the parents to take their kids to services. And now at Santla we're seeing that because we have the Department of Mental Health, and one of the biggest challenges is to get the parents to bring the kids to therapy because they are not used to that. So parents will give you all sort of excuse, and that will reduce the treatment. Because at Santla we don't do psychotherapy treatment, but we do psychological treatment. So therefore, it's a problem to put both together, because when you are in mental health, we consider all then the dual therapy. You will do psychotherapy and also you do pharmacological therapy, just like my colleagues who were talking about the side effects with the serotonin syndrome, and which is something we used to see when we were in clinic, but right now we cannot see the effect of medication in our setting. What we see most in our setting is kids that are having difficulties in school, kids that are getting into gangs. You know, it is present in our community here. So parents are really blocking the treatment process for any mental health ailments that their children are presenting with. And that's the number one social determinant. The Haitian refuse to change their health beliefs. That's one of the problems we have with the population right now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Son problème que la communauté haïtienne est un peu avec, surtout avec Simon et avec jeunes, parce que parents vont questionner, pas les petits moins comme si pour mon âge, petit moins de tête chaud, ou un petit moins fou, parce que là, mon avait pensé, parents, on peut penser, bon, si petit moins, pour que ça fait petit femme là, ou bien il va comme si réaliser que, bon, possibilité que petit toi, quand on problème mental, va voir ces mêmes gens, comme si petit tout fait tension, fait suite. So c'est même gens, mais c'est juste une maladie dans le cerveau. So, même si on questionne, on comme si on parlait, comme si pour mon connaît, on parlait pour mon voir dans la clinique. So, c'est un problème qui est tragique dans la communauté haïtienne. Non? So, je pense que la conversation est très importante pour nous éduquer, non seulement la communauté, pour nous non seulement éduquer, pour nous encourager, pour chercher aide, et puis sous comme si mon cœur ou si mon comme si agir en façon, c'est de me cacher, c'est toujours dans la première l'école pour qu'amener le bon professionnel, parce que si on a des doigts, on a la combat, même pas à l'aise, on va l'avoir, mais c'est l'autre monde qui a intervenu, qui a aidé ces gens-là. So thank you so much for that, Dr. Cesar. All right, Dr. Javier, I'm going right back to you. Given the potential risk of starting antidepressant medications, particularly the increased risk of suicidal thoughts in the early stages, How can healthcare providers and patients work together to minimize those risks and ensure patient safety?
Thank you so much for that question. So some of the risks when starting antidepressants, just like my colleague Dr. Espina said, that a lot of times the medication may cause you to get worse before you get better, right? So you have depression and you have these suicidal thoughts. Sometimes it gets extremely bad to the point where you're like, okay, the medication's not working, but it takes 6 to 8 weeks for you to see that effect of the medication before you start to see that the medication is doing some kind of effect to your thoughts, to your body, some of the things, the behaviors that you're experiencing. So I always like to tell my patients too that even when you're on the medication, just like Dr. Experiment mentioned earlier too, if it's not working, if you see that you're not getting the effect that you're supposed to be getting from it, talk to your provider, talk to your doctor, tell them, hey, it's not working. In that case, the doctor can increase the dose and then try to optimize it, right? Make it go up to the highest dose that is possible. If that's not working, the doctor can add on to that medication, right? So these are some of the things that they would try to tackle when it comes to situations like that, when starting that medication and some of the things that you would expect with the suicidal ideation. And these medications, not to say that they don't work, they are good medications, but they do have side effects. Because I know earlier I mentioned that we have a lot of patients that, they're probably afraid to start taking it because of the bad things that they hear, right? They hear, especially for the guys, I hear that I'm not getting money. I won't be able to be aroused. I won't be able to perform. I won't be able to basically just have any kind of feeling, especially if you are in a marriage. It can affect you tremendously. So some people just choose not to take it. And then so they're not trying to attack the root cause, which is anxiety, depression. So if you're not making sure that you understand those underlying causes and making sure that you take care of those things too, it can also lead to some of those issues as well. Not just the medication, but just the fact that you're not taking care of those underlying conditions. And I just want to make sure I answer the question in the full effect. Can you just repeat it one more time? Because I feel like it had like 2 questions in it.
No, you did. You actually did answer all the parts. You talked about the suicide. You talked about the starting of the medication, the risks, and all of those things. So you pretty much answered it.
So I do want to add on to that as well, because I always like to tell my patients when it comes to what to do, right? What to do in situations when you're experiencing those sexual side effects from those antidepressants. Again, talk to your doctor or your therapist, because a lot of people, like we mentioned earlier, we got the psychotherapy and we also have the psychiatrist that's also there to kind of go hand in hand, because you're actually supposed to start off with the psychiatrist first, and the psychiatrist see that, okay, maybe you may need some medication to go along with that to kind of address some of those thoughts or behaviors that you have. The doctor can try to lower the dose. So, so pour moun yo ki senti que ok, mwen gen sentiment sa yo pou pa ka performer bien nan ka pa ka satisfaire madame, peut-être médicament ma pran, ou ka toujou parler avec docteur pour docteur ka descendre dose médicament, right? Ou ka toujou yo gon lot baga ou ka faire tout. You can always schedule the time that you want to, have that long time with your loved one. And in situations like that, they have a thing where they call taking a drug holiday. So if your doctor approves, if the doctor said, okay, you could stop taking the medication for this day so that, it can get out of your system so that you can be good for that particular day, and then you and wifey or you and your loved one can do what it do, right? Or the doctor can switch it to a different drug, right? So you get l'autre médicament qui fait même travail, even though it works differently as a different class. We have the serotonin ones, let me see. So the SSRIs and the SNRIs. So amplify your one by SNRIs yo in place of the SSRIs, because the SSRIs are the ones that has more side effects when it comes to the libido, etc. So they can switch it to like Wellbutrin. They can also do Remeron. Those have lesser side effects. So they, you know, like I mentioned, adding the drug, meeting with a sex therapist, etc. So these are some of the things, and when it comes to awareness, we always want to make sure that our patients know what signs to look out for when a person has suicidal thoughts. Just like Dr. Experience mentioned, if somebody is saying things like, I want to kill myself, I'm not happy, I don't feel loved, or they have different things, but I just want you as a person, it could be anybody, même si c'est pas un professionnel, ou toujours poser des questions, et fait pour vous poser des questions directes. Mandez-moi là. What do you want to do to yourself? How do you plan on doing it to yourself? How can I help you to prevent you from doing this so that I can find the help that you need? So just faire pour parler, pour poser des questions directes, and then pour connaître the resources côté aussi poser aller pour joindre aide dans ces situations. So thank you so much for that question. It was a wonderful question.
Thank you, Dr. Javier. Bon, comme cas on bagay tout parce que moi dit monsieur, mais comme travail pour monsieur parce que bagay monsieur, là comme travail pour yo. Mesdames yo tout, parce que soit pour antidepressant ou comme si senti ou pas sous ça, par les sensations pour faire relation sexuelle avec Mario, so même bagay là tout. So et puis tout, si quand nous faisons des filles ou des garçons, parce que moi, on tape un petit gentil pour te dire mon sexe. Avec ce monde-là, sur la cabane claire. Comme la cabane claire. Oh, shoot. Wow. But, sorry. But, so I got natural here, right? So, faut qu'on soit à l'aise avec mon cas prescrit médicament pour dire ça. Pour dire, bon, depuis que je commence à prendre médicament, bon, sensation, comme si je ne suis pas satisfait, je ne suis pas satisfait, madame, qui ça que moi je fais? Tant pour quitter les médicaments, parce que c'est problème ça, nous gagnons. Plusieurs fois, comme si les gens commencent à prendre les médicaments, ça et puis affecté les relations sexuelles, ils ont tout campé. Parce que surtout pour les garçons qui disent, ils sont là qui très important pour eux, ils disent, moi-même, je vais dire, madame, quitter pour madame, je checker l'autre monde. Si c'est les médicaments qui ont prêché, nous devons quitter ça. Plutôt comme si c'est même avec les médicaments, attention, il y a des effets. Yo plutôt mourir avec tension, comme si pour ne pas satisfaire madame ou bien mon mieux. So, si vous sentez que ça, et puis même gens tout, comme si on l'a fait, comme si on dans le monde qui a pris les médicaments, on a dit, on me sent comme si on ne pas vivre encore. Ça, c'est une touille tête. Bon, mal, on ça m'a vu toujours parce que c'est misère, c'est vraiment passer sur le monde ça. Comme si, parler avec le monde ça, faire investigation. Parce que moi, je me connais. Parce que mon ami doit avoir un plan de base ça, mais comme si mon ami est indirect, mais chercher qu'on est fouiller mon ça pour connaître est-ce que mon ça a un plan et puis pour mon cas aider. All right. So the next question is for Dr. Estela. How long does it usually take for antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications to start working? And what signs should someone look for to know if they're helping or not?
So I'm just going to briefly touch on that because Dr. Jenny already talked about this, but I'll just mention it again just to make sure that everybody understands. So it usually takes about 2 to 4 weeks to start to see a difference. And how you can gauge that. The person starts eating, they didn't eat before, they sleep better, they don't feel as overwhelmed as they did before. So for it to have its full effect, like Jenny mentioned, it takes about 6 to 12 weeks. So around 6 to 8 weeks, if you feel like it hasn't been effective yet, I think it's important to reach out to your doctor and have a conversation, right? So maybe we need to increase the dosage, and maybe that's what needs to happen. But I want to go ahead and also talk about the non-pharmacological treatments. We were just talking about that with our mental health, with Sandy, just talking about things that she can do, working out. Like, you know, after you're finishing working out, you feel so much better. If you weren't in a good mood, you go and take a Zumba class. You can go and go to the gym, go and run on the treadmill. That is one of the most effective non-pharmacological treatments, right? Like even I myself, sometimes when it's been a long day, instead of having like a glass of wine, take yourself to the gym. And go to Zumba. It's really, really effective. And Dr. Jenny, on your video show, you're not scared to say all the words, but when you said add a medication, you meant to say Viagra and Cialis. So they can take their medication, and there are medications to help with the impulses, right? So you take that Viagra and the Cialis, and it'll be effective. You're being brand new today. What's going on?
She's being timid. She's being timid. And then, by the way, I'm glad you mentioned Zumba. That's my favorite. I prescribe it to everybody. Especially all the ones I'm like, go to a Zumba class. It's amazing. And then, put you got him in Zumba. Yo, Pilates. Yeah, I have to get into Pilates. But for the people that don't like Zumba, take a combat class. They're also having like combat classes now. That's a thing now. Like, you know, they're having the combat classes. Ils donnent des bonnes musiques, donc là, on sent comme si on sent soulever, comme si on obtient des bonnes musiques, on balancer fort, comme si il aide avec dépression, il aide comme si avec santé mentale. All right, so that's good. Okay, so Dr. Cesar, who's been a provider in our community for well over 20 years, in the South Florida area, Miami specifically, what steps have you taken to ensure better understanding and compliance when it comes to mental health in our community?
I think compliance is a very big problem in our community, especially when you address the mental elements with medication. I'm talking about pharmacotherapy. And pharmacotherapy has been something that Haitians don't even want to take even if they have blood pressure or blood sugar. There is always a problem with the medication. So for the really past 20 years, treating Haitian has been a problem because their health beliefs is based on their traditional values of using home therapy. So for psychiatry, it's a little bit difficult to have home therapy. Although now we're talking about yoga, we're talking about compa music, or even some providers are talking about sex therapy. So, which is something that is part of self-care to resolve certain problems that couple may have and that may show as no interest or they call low libido. So sex therapy is something that they can do now also, just to add to those ladies. Going back to strategies is all providers that are offering mental health should be able to address the language barriers of the Haitian family. You cannot be a good provider if you do not speak Creole. Because most of the, let's say people from 20 to 40 right now, it's a little bit easier, but when I started in 2001, Haitian family that were looking for mental health, they had the biggest problem was language barriers. So one of the strategy is to make sure you speak the language before you offer services to the Haitian community. Now it's a little bit different, and right now in my practice, we have double jeopardy with language barriers. Is because we're having some migrant families that are coming from Brazil, they're coming from Chile, and they have been in Brazil right after the earthquake. Therefore, they are very fluent in Portuguese and very fluent in Spanish. And we are able to face the language barriers, and we getting language barriers again because the non-conflict communication, since some of them don't quite understand the mental health terms in the language that we are trying to give them services. So language barriers have changed a lot. It's not Creole and French anymore. It's really those two languages that we see in most of our families, since we're doing family stabilization, and they're coming to us. And we have to face more problem with the children, because the children are seeing the parents speaking broken Creole, Spanish or Portuguese, and if we have to give services to these kids, we have now to be fluent in Spanish and fluent in Portuguese. So that's make giving a care to the Haitian is very important because with the new population we have in South Florida, mainly in that northeast corridor where we have our services. The second thing was to eliminate the stigma. And eliminating the stigma was not easy to do. You can only do it with community approach education. Education has always been the good strategy that we use as providers, so we can get the Haitian families to buy in psychiatric treatment. The third thing also is to encourage the providers to be culturally competent. It's very important. They have to be culturally sensitive to the needs and the culture of the Haitian, their values, and not minimize the values. So that's why right now we are talking about a new phenomenon called community instead of clinic. So because we are ready to talk about education, we're ready to talk about pharmacotherapy, instead of trying to communicate with respect, with understanding of the culture of the family. We're talking about other things. So right now, community is very well used by providers as myself. We're trying to enter into a frank, a truthful conversation with the family so we can get the family to accept and to buy in the services we want to offer them. And we talk less and less, in my case, as a strategy. We do not tell the patient, you just did all that, you have depression or you have anxiety, or you have what we talk about PTSD. So those psychotropic medication that they might use for some of those things. Although for PTSD, it's really therapy. But as soon as you say therapy to the family, because you think that they're showing some sign of PTSD, they are not agreeing to go. And I really have to send them out so they're not agreeing to go. So what we do something like life coaching, without talking about the side, and we do a little bit of a mini side eval with them in the form of a soap notes. And like that, we talk and we develop that community with the patient where we have conversation about what are the things that you may feel, that you may call PTSD, and those talk that we do in-house, that's what makes us decide at the end if those little talks that are communities don't do anything, is to send them out to monitoring. Yes. Since we have empower you that are giving the service. So it's one of the strategies we use also with the client. So not because we are lying with the client, but we don't do clinical assessment immediately when we have them. So we can use that strategy that is a good one. Expanding access to mental health care is very important also for the clients. Some clients don't even know if their insurance cover mental health, and you talk about mental health, they say, oh, no, I don't have insurance for that, I don't have insurance for those things. So we have to make sure that they are Medicaid, since that's all they have access to, or the HMO that is attached to their Medicaid will cover a visit to mental health. And work with them with their social determinants and make them understand that it is possible to have blood pressure, it is possible to have diabetic problem, it is also possible to have mental problem. Yeah. So those are the little strategies that we're trying to put into place so we can get the Haitian client in 2025 to go see the mental health provider.
That's good. Thank you for that, Dr. Cesar. Yeah, because within the past few years, especially with the Biden program, right? That's what everybody refers to it. People qui sont Chili, Brésil, tout ça. So, souvent, mon docteur va sentir comme si vous santé mentale ou bien whatever it is. sou pas à l'aise dans la langue qu'on a parlé à demander, est-ce que vous qui parle créole ou est-ce que vous qui parle espagnol? Parce que actuellement, je suis à l'aise avec la langue ça, pas peur pour demander, parce que vous avez toujours des ressources, même le roi, je monde qui est là, but il y a translation line, comme si vous avez le monde dans le téléphone pour qu'il traduise pour. So, l'organiser pour checker ou pour faire recherche pour ressources, demander est-ce que vous qui parle langue ou puis à l'aise avec là. C'est pas parce que c'est haïtien, parce que si vous faites 20 ans ou habiter chez lui, ou bien 15 ans ou habiter chez lui, normalement, quand il doit faire langue ça qui est à l'aise pour, parce que c'est lui-même qui fait 15 ans à parler. Alright. So, Dr. Javille, so I have my last question for you, and I'm just going to ask for you to, sum it up as quick as you can. I'm not rushing you, but just sum it up as quick as you can. So for someone who is just taking medications for the first time, like what are some of the coping mechanisms that you can share with them when starting antidepressants for the first time?
Okay, so when starting antidepressant medication, just like any other medication, you want to establish and maintain some kind of boundaries, right? Practicing relaxation strategies such as breathing, like taking deep breaths. So the deep breathing, meditation, and mindfulness. So getting regular physical activity as well. So when I try to break down the physical coping strategy of that, so when it comes to exercising, it isn't just building muscle, right? A lot of people think about exercising, it's about just building muscle. It's incredibly effective for mental well-being too when people work out, because physical activity releases those endorphins, which acts as a natural mood lifter, right? So like we talked about earlier, when you go to work out in the gym, you feel better, you feel good, it kind of lifts you up in some kind of way. So they can also help you sleep better. It can also help reduce stress. So it also improves our self-esteem. So an example of that for some people think when you go to the gym is spending hours at the gym. 15 minutes walking, that could be effective, right? Or even dancing to our favorite music. Remember how we was talking about compa earlier? So some people find their feeling in that. So dancing is an exercise. So the deep breathing technique that I talked about earlier too. So it might sound a little bit overly simple. It's not that simple, because you want to sit there and make sure that you understand that it's one of those powerful tools that we use. It works by activating your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps control the relaxation response in your body. And my tip for that is the 4-7-8 breathing exercise, right? So for people that don't know about it, this is for beginners. So you inhale through your nose for 4 seconds, and then you hold your breath for 7 seconds, and then after that, you exhale through your mouth for 8 seconds. So you do that 4 times, and then you good, right? So that can also help with those, that's a good mechanism. So healthy eating is another mechanism, because there's a lot of people when they're stressed, depressed, they tend to have eating issues, right? They tend to binge watch movies. They tend to do a lot of things that, it just gives. It gives that, right? So the food we consume can have a very, very surprising impact on our mental state. So a lot of people don't think that, but it really does. So you always hear, they say you are what you eat, which is true. So research shows a strong connection between a healthy gut and a healthy mind. Always remember, gut-brain, the axis. That's what they call it. It's a gut-brain axis. And when I go into the psychological coping strategy, so mindfulness and meditation. So I talked briefly earlier about mindfulness. So mindfulness involves being fully present and engaged in being here. You guys, I can tell a lot of you guys are physically here. You're paying attention. I see the awareness, and that's awesome. So I want to thank you guys for that. And when you're engaged and being here for now, it shows that it reduces symptoms of stress, anxiety, and depression. So you can improve concentration, and you can also improve feeling of contentment. And one more thing.
I think that's.
All right, you guys. Guess what time it is? So, it's about that time. Mwen rete yon ti jan, I guess late, yon ti jan reta, just pou mwen make up peut-être que m'te vini en retard earlier. So I hope you guys enjoyed. M'swete que nou te enjoy event sa que m'te participe la dan. Like I said, I was one of the panelists that ki ta pale sou mental health, right? So problem cerveau, problem mental. So mwen se yon nan panelist yo ki te a pale sou sa. And ma di yon gran merci paski yo te gen mwen kom yon nan panelist yo, et puis of course lot mesdames yo, the other panelists, yo te fe yon fantastic job. It was a terrific job of explaining and answering questions. Jan yo repon question yo, jan yo explike bagay yo. So m souwete ke nou te pran an pil informasyon, because like I told you, it's very informative, it's very important, and this is our way of giving back to the community. So depi nap fe se de kalite event sa yo, depi m konen de yo tou, map fe for pou mwen pataje yo avek nou. So sa vle di pou moun yo ki Miami, is right there in your backyard. The Cats is right there. Okay, and pou moun yo ki Fort Lauderdale, Homestead, whatever, yeah, even if ou ta vle fè déplasman, it's for a good cause. Ou fè déplasman, ou chita, ou tande, yo gen lot moun ki la, ki gen tab, kap prezante business yo, bay ke yo fè. So yo te gen plizye bon informasyon, plizye moun ki te la, kap van, et puis kap ba information business pa yo too, you know. So m souhaite, like I said, sa te ede nou kompren importance comment liye pou gen bon communication avec docteur, avec pharmaciste, et puis m souhaite que nous comprenne tout que li vraiment important pour parler avec yon moun, a specialist, a psychiatrist, de pou senti, you know, some type of way, because an pile moun noir, an pile I want to say haïtien tout, nou pa kwen psychiatrist, right? Pou ap chita, pou ap parler avec yon moun, pou ap di moun la, me comment senti ou, me ki sa ka pase nan tèt ou, me ki problem ou gen la ka ou, me ki problem ou gen nan mariage ou, me ki problem ou gen nan travay ou avec famille ou. So m vle nou etire sa nan may nou, m vle nou etire sa, pi m konen ou gen pil moun ki traumatize paske le ap fè déplasman soti Haiti pou yo marcher, pour aller pour yo vini aux États-Unis ou pour yo aller dans l'autre pays yo, right? So pile moun sa yo experience a lot of trauma. Okay? So it's very important pour joindre aide. Et puis ça te un côté m souhaite nou te tende avec un pile attention. Parce que nous voulons aider tout le monde, nous voulons make sure que la communauté pa nou rete ensemble each and every way possible. So again, it was a pleasure that I was here tonight. Thank you so much, you guys, pour moun yo ki te rete avec nous, ki tan de show an, ki te rete branché, ki pataje live nan. I want to say thank you so much. I really appreciate you guys. And until next time, I'll see you guys on Monday. So with all that being said, thank you for watching, and goodbye.
Men, li pral, li roulel, li dribilel, li kasel, li virel, li virel, wap.
Tout haïtien conséquent, tout haïtien natif natal connaît football, c'est une jouette qui réunit plus moun sur la terre. Ou tendez, tout tout le monde foncelle. Attaquant, défonceur, nous tous sous même terrain. À la belle jouette, c'est boule. 5 juillet, attendez, c'est 5 juillet qu'a venu là. C'est pour un gros événement, pour une gros communauté artistes haïtiens pour le boire ses boules devant TikTokers influencés haïtiens. Mes amis, pourquoi c'est belle bagaille? Nous tous net des rendez-vous 5 juillet qu'a venu là. Attendez, 5 juillet. Rendez-vous dans North Miami, Florida, dans North Miami Stadium. Exact, les garçons! Son moment plaisir, qu'est content, côté tout haïtien pour le réunir. Animation musicale, DJ TOUCHEDOUCE, DJ K9, DJ Boulet, DJ Maman Beba. DJ Tommy Mix. Chant de danse et puis rara la caille pour bon plaisir. Et puis tendez bien, wap ka acheter ticket ou sous Eventbrite. Ou tendez ou mettez date ça dans agenda. Ou fâché, eh ben, le 5 juillet machin mandat. Nous tendez bien, oui. North Miami Stadium, eh ben, Greg Promo. Il dit le vrai.
Qui Brésil? Qui Brésil?